Alright fellas, here we are back at Pokemon Masters, and today we're going to be looking at the Battle Challenge Round 2 for the Veevee on Pasio story event. So, this was released alongside Penny, of course, and there's only one mission. That's it. One mission, one coin, whatever. Why? Probably because Penny doesn't have any regional theme skills. She's the only release for this event, I guess. Sure, whatever. I think they should have done another mission for like one of her other theme skills. I think she may have something like, I don't know, Gadgeteer. I forget what her other theme skills are, but something like that, right? I think they should have done it, but they didn't. So the only mission is use one fairy character and have one character fall below 0 HP or less, and then you get a strike coin. So yeah, very, very simple. I've already got the team set up here. There's a ton of different ways to do this. But all you have to worry about with the enemies is that they get a lot of damage extra whenever their special defense is raised by any amount, and they also have acute senses, so you want to make sure that they have a status change, like, again, Trap, Confusion, Rebuff, Restrain, those type of abilities, and all of that, right? So you got to make sure that they have that. Otherwise, they're going to be taking a very small amount of damage, and this is the setup I got. Sycamore and Valerie both count for Fairy. I just opted to use them because why not? And then Victor here is good for doing supporting for Valerie's crit, Haze to get rid of the special defense buffs and just all of their buffs in general, as well as having Gobsmack 4 in the grid to where he can confuse the enemy, which counts as a status change. So yeah, not going to waste any more of your time. Let's go ahead and hop into the battle. So yeah, as previously stated, there are a lot of easy ways to do this. You don't have to use Sycamore, you don't have to use Valerie. Just make sure they don't have special defense buffs, or of course you can just, hit through it, brute force it, however you want to do it, right? You could do that, sure. But you just gotta make sure they have a status change, probably have special defense debuffed, and then have a fairy character. All up to you, up to your discretion. So we start off with a Haze here to make sure that they don't have any buffs, because otherwise they could hit pretty hard, because they do have like a 30% DPS multiplier, as well as a 30% sync multiplier, and just some extra stuff, so you gotta just make sure their special defense is lowered, or again, just brute force it if you really think you can. You do not need Valerie 20 out of 20, because I do on accident. You don't need Victor's EX, and you shouldn't need Sycamore's EX. You shouldn't need any of them. You should be just fine to do it without them. Mostly just because they don't hit too hard as it is, and Sycamore and Valerie both have good methods of recovery. So as long as you're able to confuse all of them and keep them confused for a decent amount of time, you don't really have to worry too much about them being able to do too much damage. Sure, they may KO Victor with like a sync move or something, but you could just use Valerie's Draining Kiss as well as Sycamore's Horn Leech and pretty much outstall them if you really need to. So yeah, I get pretty unlucky here with the confusions and whatnot. It takes a while for them to land, but once they do land, obviously it's very, very nice. And thankfully, because of Sycamore's EX, I am able to have Adrenaline. Well, actually, no. That's not because of his EX. So I just have Adrenaline as a lucky skill. Thankfully, because I have Adrenaline as a lucky skill, I'm able to get in Valerie's sync move before this Flygon's able to get in their sync move. We also maxed out Valerie's crit there because of the Spectrier. So awesome there, right? We go ahead and use Valerie's sync move. Does a ton of damage, surprisingly, right? I don't know if you'll be able to KO instantly. If you don't have Sycamore EX and you don't have Valerie 20 out of 20, you're not going to be able to KO them before they sync, but their sync move should not do much damage. As long as their special defense is not raised, shouldn't really matter all that much. You should be just fine, right? Also, that Hyper Beam hurts a little bit. Not too bad, surprisingly, even though their special defense is raised, but they are the sides, and the sides don't have a lot of attack power, really. But the Hyper Beam can definitely hurt. So we're just pretty much going for the mud shots now to try and land a confusion. It's taken way too much time, but eventually we do land the confusion, and we're able to KO the sides, but it's literally just luck, right? It depends how long it takes you to confuse the sides and whatnot, and once you're able to, the battle will just straight up end, right? Hyper focus the middle if at all possible. Probably swap between Draining Kiss and Disarming Voice. If you want to just single target spam on an enemy, just use Draining Kiss. If you want to try and do AoE damage with all to all enemies, use Disarming Voice, and then Sycamore pretty much spam Moonblast. And if things get hairy with his health or whatever, just probably go for a Horn Leech on an enemy that has Confusion, just to make sure that you're actually doing a little bit of damage. It can actually heal off that Horn Leech, right? So, there you go. Pretty easy win, honestly. Nothing bad at all. Very, very easy. Very, very simple. And that's pretty much it. There's a lot of different characters you could use. You could use BP Valerie. I opted not to because mine was EX, so it was going to be a pretty skewered showcase. But you could use someone like Mina. She would probably work out just fine because she also does have attack debuffing. So, pretty sure they're all special though, so the attack debuffing doesn't do too much. But still, not bad damage. And again, any other fairy character just will do. So, yeah, just make sure you got that fairy character. You don't even have to have them as your main DPS. You could just use Sycamore for the most part as a support and then have another damage dealer. Would be off-type, sure, but if they're strong enough, it won't really matter, right? But yeah, overall, that's the Battle Challenge Round 2 for the Veevee on Pasio event. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what teams you used for down in the comments below. If you are struggling or anything, let me know in the comments, and I will try to help you the best I can. And yeah, I'll see you all later.